We got a lot of people in here, so I'll kind of let you guys start off. Obviously, I'm excited for our team, and I'm excited for the fan base of Iowa State wrestling. Obviously, it's very well documented. It's been, 20 plus years. But I thought, we wrestled really hard. I said before when I did my pre-match talk over at Sheeman that this was a really good team. The Iowa team was a really good team, but I also felt like we had a really good team. And so from where I sat, it looked like there was a lot of good matches. I hope from where you sat there was a lot of good matches too. One clarification, we had some sickness at the beginning of the week. MJ and Evan Frost, maybe we need to get everybody sick. But MJ and Evan Frost both Monday and Tuesday were out with like a really bad head cold, the gunk. And then for some reason, one Frost boy gave it to the other Frost boy, probably because they're roommates. So Jacob Frost is kind of under the weather. Today's the first day he's been out in like 2 or 3 days. So that was the reason we went with Pinero Johnson. So I'll clarify that right now. So it wasn't anything like we got an injury or he's in the doghouse. We're trying to mend him up, and he'll be going to Vegas with us. So anyway, let you all roll.
Wanted to get your thoughts, the momentum starting at 285 with Younger, a top-ranked guy in the polls. What's it kind of like momentum-wise to open up with a win as big as that one?
Younger, we just really kind of wanted to see what was going on at heavyweight there because we'd watched Iowa compete the last couple of weeks, and we just really wanted to know what was going out there. And I figure, you know what, if you're going to go wrestle Younger Bastida, you better feel pretty good. So obviously, there's a lot of rumors out there. We kind of heard through the grapevine that he was injured, but he looked like he wasn't very injured today, which is good. I thought it was a good win for Younger. I told him, we've been talking about it for 3 days, that if we win the flip, we're going 285. So Younger's been known this for so the combination of that, and then also, Rocky all week long. In fact, we had Thanksgiving at my house, and I sat with Rocky and watched football for 3 hours, and he must have asked 5 times if he could go last. And so he got his Thanksgiving wish. So he wanted to go last today, and he went last.
MJ told us a story about being at Casey's that you might know, where some guy asked him who he's wrestling, and he said Kennedy, and the guy said, ouch.
Really?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the way MJ brought his funk and scored that huge upset?
I think he wrestled a really smart match. Kennedy is just he's a stud, and he hand fights so well. And he's really good at what he does, and I thought we did a good job of staying in the hand fight. We didn't win the hand fight, but what we did is get him tired. And what MJ brings to the table is he's got that roll-around ability. So when somebody's always trying to pin you all the time or put you on your back, that's a whole different level of cardio needed when you're trying to survive. And MJ brings that to the table. But I like the fact that he's just getting a little more basic, and it's not like a tornado out there every time. It's just half a tornado. So there's a fine line there, but I thought Coach St. John did a really good job with his game plan. They spent a lot of time together this week, and I thought Coach St. John did a great job with the game plan.
A lot of big wins. Anthony bonus points. Evan did what he did. Rocky closes with the way he did. Younger, etc. What about unsung guys? What about the way that maybe Isaac Dean hung in there where no one thought he'd have a chance, probably like MJ?
No, I thought we competed really, really well. We're overwhelmed, which I was a little surprised at 165. And I'm the first to say that I think Caliendo is one of the best wrestlers in the nation, and he kind of proved it today. We didn't have our best performance there, not because of lack of effort. We just didn't have our best performance there. So, we got to get after it. I think we tweaked our ankle a little bit there, so I don't know what that's going to look like tomorrow morning, but nothing major. But I thought, up and down. Steve-O wrestled tough. You're talking. Look at the rankings there. There's just about everybody, but maybe one guy was ranked in the top 10, and Ryder Block was might have one of those guys. And I told everybody how good he's been wrestling lately too. To me, he's a top 5 guy at 149 already. So there's just when you got a lot of studs hitting heads, you're gonna have to get it to win, to get your hand raised.
What has Rocky Elam brought to your team in terms of a leadership perspective, and obviously we see what he does on the mat?
He can wrestle pretty good. He can wrestle, and he's calm and collected. You're a 4-time All-American. That stuff just doesn't happen by accident. He's been in a lot of big situations. He won a world gold medal as I think a U20 guy or U20 guy. So he's been in a lot of big matches, and he's done a good job with his body. Our trainers have done a good job. We brought him back really slow. And didn't put a lot of mileage on him up to this point. But he wants to go to Vegas, and his body's feeling great right now. And he beat a good guy today, so he's he's kind of a quiet leader, but he's getting a little more vocal. He looked pretty vocal after that tonight.
So I think last year you talked about how much about you were really confident in that team last year, and obviously injuries, things
Right.
change really quickly. What can you say about the confidence this team has now with a win over an opponent like Iowa and breaking the streak?
They should feel really good about themselves right now. I told them in the locker room afterwards is when you go beat a really good team in sports, doesn't matter if you're in high school or college or the pros, you go beat somebody really good, you don't forget that. There's a lot of matches these guys will forget in their career, but they're not going to forget today. And so I think that's the cool part of sports, and I think that should propel them, but they got to understand this is a quick turnaround, and somebody's going to want to take their head off Friday at 9 a.m. Las Vegas time, 11 o'clock Iowa time. Somebody's going to want to take their head off. So we have to keep that in perspective. And so that's my job right now is just to say, okay, let's tone it down tonight. Wrestlers celebrate a little bit different, especially when they got to weigh in 5 days from now. If you're in the NFL, you probably go out and drink a case of beer, but my guys will go eat 5 cheeseburgers and 5 Casey's pizzas if I don't get to them. So we got to make sure we do a good job with our diet the next 24 hours so we can get back on the horse.
A lot of with your program since the start, it's always been about the build and getting it to where you guys want it to be. From getting the curtains down to just the next step. How much is breaking this streak kind of another step to where you guys want to be contending for titles and more team trophies and things of that nature?
Well, you always set goals as a coach. You set goals, and if you my press conference in 2017, that was one of the objectives was to get this thing back on our side, and so it took longer than I wanted to, but we got it going, and we got to do it all over again. But it just to me, it's like I started out. I like it for the fan base. This is a great fan base, and there's so much history here. And I went to an alumni outing last night, and it was 25 below zero wind chill factor, or whatever it felt like, 25 below, and there was a bunch of guys in their 60s and 70s that were NCAA champs that somehow made it out to an alumni function last night. So that just kind of tells you the passion of this fan base. So I'm just excited for our fan base.
I was kind of curious what your thoughts on Connor Eaton's performance today. He wrestled a tough opponent, but he did a great job out there. What are your thoughts on that as coming in as a number 22 ranked wrestler?
Connor, if you ask him, he's not going to say a lot of good things about his performance. So. And he didn't have a great day. His effort was good, but he didn't have a great day. I don't know if he was just a little off or Caliendo is just that good. I think it might be a little bit of both because, I don't think there's that big of a gap there. But, we'll learn a lot about here's the thing with Connor Eaton. We haven't got through we haven't even got to Christmas ever with him with injuries, and I'm not picking on him. He trains hard. He works his tail off. But some guys out there just are, that injury-prone thing's a real deal. And we don't know if we can get him to Vegas now because he sprained his ankle a little bit. So it's a tough world out there, but we got to get him in some big matches and get some momentum. We got to get a couple months under his belt, and he's never been able to do that. So we got to see how banged up he is.
On the topic of Connor, this was a duel that he tore his ACL in
Last year, yeah.
How big is it, I guess, that he gets to continue wrestling and continue developing and kind of develop into the wrestler that you hope he can be?
Well, I hope he gets to keep continuing to wrestle because we got to see what his ankle looks like.
Coach, you talk a lot about how, the guys are going to remember the tough ones that they've won. But, just speaking from your perspective, how good does it feel as a coach to be able to cross this off, just not even thinking of the fans, just for you as an individual?
Well, I'm probably I am a miserable loser and a so-so winner. I came here to win, and so we're going to sit back and enjoy this. I'm actually harder on myself the other way, so I'm not a huge celebrator on the other side of it. But this was fun. It was a great atmosphere. I appreciate everybody came out in this cold weather we've been having and what we had yesterday. But I'm probably weird in that I'm just going to want to go back to work tomorrow.
What did you learn about your team today?
I learned they can compete. Daggone, they can compete. We had to compete out there. That 74-pound match was a long one, and 49 was a long one, and we were on one side with one and one the other. And Steve-O's was a barn burner, and Frost was a barn burner, and Ichimandia whooped him good, and Younger whooped him good, but there was a lot of barn burners out there, and that's what makes a great dual meet. I think everybody knew that coming in.
Coach, the challenge
Well, everybody kept saying I missed it, but all my whole bench was going. He locked his hand. He's locked his hand. He locked his hands. So we were tardy in throwing it. We thought we threw it out there in time, but the referees goes, "You didn't throw it out there soon enough." So that's on us. But I really do think he locked his hands, and I had some other people. But from where I saw it, I couldn't see it. But I had people out to the side of me that said. So that's why we did it, and then they took our brick back right away. But I guess it did create some. I think they were both really tired. I don't think. I mean, to me, they both should have been tired because that was a match. Like they threw it out there. So.
How much did Vinny Zerbin surprise you today, or is this something you see in him in practice?
Vinny get a bonus point there in the third period when it was kind of knotted up there, close going in the third period. Yeah, he wrestles so hard. I love that about him. He just wrestles hard. And you get a long ways in this sport when you try really hard for 7 minutes. Because think about it, if you ever grab a hold of somebody for 7 minutes, you can get tired really fast, really quick. All right, so that guy just goes hard.
It looks like he has some funk about him too. Can you compare and contrast his funk versus MJ Gaitan's funk because they seem different too?
No, but they're both funky. Yeah, they're a little bit. Vinny's just, you get to his legs, he's more of a funk roll guy, and MJ just never know what he's going to do. He's going to try to pin you. I mean, he hit that headlock the first 20 seconds, and I thought we were all going to be able to celebrate and go home, but Kennedy rolled through, and there was no points.
Towards the end of the Edgemond-Dia match, the bench was kind of trying to communicate with him. What was the goal there?
Well, the goal was to get a tech following, work on that drill all the time, so I'm going to bust his chops tomorrow. But, you get in a hurry and you got somebody tired and you're looking for a takedown to tech him, and we had plenty of time to tech him, and you take your hands off him, and you got to watch the referee out of the corner of your eye to get that one. If you don't, you just waste time. So he let him go, and then he jumped right back on him before he got the one. If he would have came out and circled a little bit, you got to look at the referee out of the corner of his eye. When he throws that one up, boom, run back around. You can rack up points really quick. So we should have got a tech there. And he did a great job, but I'm going to remind him tomorrow that you blew it, all right?